Hello and welcome. You're listening to Nicola Blair from Act On It. I thought it would be a good idea to reach out to you to find out how to move forward. Let me repeat myself. Hello, I'm Nicola Blair from Act On It. And I'm basically reaching out to you to share with you what will be taking place over the next 4 to 5 weeks here on a Tuesday evening. I really want to find out from you, is it better to have it at 6:30 or 7 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon? If you could message below just so that I get an idea. So what the idea is as you know, Act On It Therapies is a psychotherapeutic service. We offer therapy to those that need it, whether it be individual, group, or workshops. It will look at working with women, specifically young women new to parenthood. We recognise that a lot of people who are new mums are really finding it challenging these days with regards to the isolation and the limited support that they're able to reach out to simply because of COVID. I'm here to reach out to parents that have children in education that are finding it challenging during this period of time. We provide individual therapeutic services that will happen online. We're also providing individuals with free consultation over the phone that will basically best support families to ask questions, to bring their problems to me, to have an assessment as to whether you feel this would be an appropriate service to you, fundamentally. My background started off in business coaching. Done it for many years, and basically I found myself every day being pushed to do this because it's something that people are interested in knowing more about. So due to COVID, I've really dedicated my time to providing therapeutic services for those in my community in Oakville and obviously further afield. These weekly sessions will be topic-driven videos that will be either involving myself or a panel that will speak on the topic and also provide support and advice at that time. My passion is around human trafficking. Human trafficking is a devastating occurrence that is happening in Canada and all around the world. However, my focus is really looking at the mental health of my community and those around. So to go forward, Act On It Therapies is coaching minds to better support them through a balanced mental health. I wanted to start with a few books that I have been really interested in my period of time of studying as a psychotherapist. So anybody that knows me knows that my expertise is in drama therapy. Phil Jones, I had the pleasure to be taught by him. He is a leading practitioner in England. He has worked extensively with children who are diagnosed with autistic spectrum. He has worked with the likes of Alida Gersi, who is an amazing drama therapist. Robert Landy, who I actually met for myself, a great resource, a great influence within the industry. Peter Slade speaks for itself. He is a treasure. He has a wealth of information that he's great with students and showing that information. One of the main people that I met that really blew me away was Robert Landy. He then, when I was a budding student, then said, Nicola, go back to the UK, find out more about drama therapy and do what you love. And it's taken me, it took me about 10 years about 7 years to jump on that. But basically I went back, studied in drama therapy, specialised in psychology and medical anthropology by Ragnar Johnson is one. If you could find his work, he blew me away every time I sat and had a lecture with him. But Ragnar Johnson is someone to be listened to. Steve Mitchell, this guy, gentleman here, let's do it properly, gentleman here. He believed in theatre of the self-expression. That is often utilised with children that need to find their voice. So it's a lot more laid back form of psychotherapy. It allows children the voice to explore through the arts the challenges that they've faced and the challenges and solutions as to what can be found. Now, I've worked extensively in prisons. I worked in Sen Prison, which is a Category 3 male prison at the time when I worked there. It had changed. It became a women's prison, but at the time that I worked there, it was a man's prison. And it was really my interest in the work that was happening in Sweden and how the prison reform was really making a change. And that's where drama therapy was taken into prisons to specifically look at post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder is usually aligned with those who have experienced war. That was really where it went when a lot of the focus was really made. But as time has gone on, people have accepted that post-traumatic stress disorder can affect anybody. And so as a result of an incident or an event in someone's life, it really looks at how that event has impacted them in today. And drama therapy also works with them, with those type of clients. This book, I don't know if you can see it, but let's see if you can. The Black Prison Movements in the USA. Mind-blowing. If I could show you the amount of sticky pads I've got in this book, information, amazing read. It is mind-blowing, and it's called The Network of Black Organizations. Brought this book really to collate some of the data that is around, as we know that there are a lot of Black people incarcerated in American prisons. And I've been speaking to a judge called, I'll tell you his name, Judge Carlos Moore. He was basically a judge, he is a judge in the US, and he's been doing some form of sentencing, but that introduces the repatriation order. Repatriation orders in the UK is very much handed down to young offenders who have committed a crime. Excuse me, it looks like someone's trying to get in on my call. Hold the line. Sorry about that. So basically, Judge Carlos Moore is a judge who has basically worked in the prison, in the court system for many years. Is silent that in the court system for many years. He basically had sectioned someone to imprison someone for a crime that they committed, but at the same time he looked at what ways could I have this offender really look at the work, or really look at what the damage that he's done. And as a result of that, he put in place a repatriation order. Repatriation orders are huge in England. I have worked in social services where young people have given back to the community, a bit like community service, but they're actually, a part of the probation is that they need to complete a certain amount of weeks on a repatriation order. He felt that it would be key to do the same thing in the US. And so just to give you an example, I found him on LinkedIn, I contacted him, and we spoke a lot about the post-traumatic stress disorder and how CBT and psychotherapy could really help looking at prison reform. So to give you an example, in Sweden, they approach it very differently. They approach it by, the prison system is the punishment, your time spent here is us getting you better. And so that brought in, how do we address the mental health of our inmates, and how do we make sure that we are making a better person out of the person we have, so when they go back into the community, they're a citizen that can actually contribute and participate. So just to give you some data, the US has the highest rate of incarcerated individuals on the globe. So they have 5% of the global population is in American prisons. And that was taken from 2015. 10 times the amount of individuals that are imprisoned suffer from mental illness that are not getting mental health support. And so the question is, what are we trying to do here? We're locking up people because they've committed a crime, yes. Our prisons are punitive in the way that we treat our prisoners, and we're sending them back into the community without the work and the support that is actually needed. And that makes no sense. So for this in Sweden, they say we are locking up, and we're locking up people a lot longer than anywhere in the world, and they're plagued by inmate abuse. So people aren't only going into prisons experiencing the environment that prison alpha actually offers them, but they're actually being abused as a result of being there. So what are we trying to do? The mental health of those in the community and the mental health of those incarcerated, we really need to provide a service. Now with COVID, we need to accept that our children are being impacted. They are surviving this pandemic themselves. What are we doing to put things in place? How is the government supporting families to support their children who need this service? Why are the government not subsidising or providing this more therapeutic services to children in our communities in Canada? How do we enable them to access the support they needed when the waiting lists are so long, when services are not able to be found? And that was the birth of Act On It, because I was approached by so many people that were saying, I don't know how to actually get the help that I need. I don't know if my child needs that help. I'm not sure if that is the type of therapy that they need. I'm concerned about what are the stigma that is going to be associated to my child if they go into therapy. We need to accept that our children need some form of an outlet, and we have to find the services that are out there. I've offered those who are aware of Act On It Therapies free 15-minute consultation, even to half an hour if necessary. But we need to look at in what way do we support mental health for our children, our families, our communities, and even those who are incarcerated. And over the weeks and over the time that I'll be coming to you, we'll be looking at different topics as we go. So one of them today, we've been talking about imprisonment, how America has the highest number of incarcerated men and women in prison, and that is very different from that of Sweden. So I'm going to be looking at that in a bit more detail, finding out a bit more information, giving you some data, and I'll be putting that on the Act On It Facebook page so that you're aware of the different options that are out there for you as a parent, as a community member, as a person that may have loved ones imprisoned, as well as finding resources. So you'll have to keep following me to find out more information about that. But if anybody wants to look at more information, the Nordic prisons, as in Europe, have a lot more better approach to it. They believe, and they quote, getting people in better shape. Our role is not to punish. The punishment is the prison sentence. They have been deprived of their freedom, so the punitive is actually being with us. That was done by Niels Olgenberg of the... I can't pronounce it. I will post it all online because I'm speaking in Nordic language, I think. So we need to recognise that in other countries, their rate is 40%. They reduce their imprisonment or reoccurring people coming back to prison by 40%. There is a stark, staggering difference to that of Canada, UK and the US. And so we really need to be looking at ways in which we could do better with our individuals that find themselves involved with criminal behaviour. But going back to mental health is something that we all need to recognise and nurture. I'm hoping to be able to bring you speakers to this platform, a panel that will be looking at domestic violence in the coming future. We'll be looking at domestic violence. We'll be looking at how to reduce suicide rate in Canada and what's been done abroad. We'll be looking at the prison system. We'll be looking at self-harming and eating disorder and all of the mental health around young people that really are a pressing concern for us in our community. So thank you for listening. This is just a quick blurb as to what do you think needs to be discussed week by week. Please post your comments below. Thank you. Please post your comments below and like and share. I will also be putting up a Facebook page for you guys so that you can always come back to the videos that I've posted. And I just wanted to let you know that every Tuesday we'll be bringing you a new guest speaker to speak on topics that you've raised and put my way for the week. Okay, thank you for joining me.